Welcome back to On the Cusp. I got my co-host Matt Snyder here with me, and this is our podcast about a lot of great things going on in Shreveport. And since our last podcast, I've been at an economic development meeting down in Shreveport. Matt, what have you been up to?
I just got done with the Catahoula wine mixer out in South Shreveport, so it was a really good experience, really cool. I love having events, always kind of awakens me to what's going on and what kind of the vibe and the feeling in the city is. You hear so much, you bring a diverse group of people that you're not with every week. So it was fun, and you definitely kind of get a gauge of where people are.
I tell you, I need to leave Shreveport on a regular basis to go to these big economic development meetings, because I went to this one in New Orleans, and they actually called me out because I was from Shreveport. I was one of two
Start
people.
throwing stuff at you?
Yeah, and it was like and they actually said, hey, we got somebody from Shreveport, Louisiana with us today, and you know that they called me out.
Like you're from Iraq.
Yeah, it was like I was from some foreign country.
Yeah.
And I originally I was like, man, I don't know whether that's good or bad. And then as I went through the meeting, you know, and we did a lot of discussion and topic, I looked at how the economic development organizations were acting and how they were focused on LED and the state. And then I transitioned to anger, because I was the only one from, you know, Shreveport that was there. And I felt like instantly, if you ever wonder why we miss out, okay, it was because we weren't there.
It used to really bother me when people from South Louisiana would act like Shreveporters were these weird, mean, aggressive people. And then I worked on a few projects with them, and I started to see like their interaction with Shreveport people, and I was like, they're right.
Really?
They're right. Shreveport people go down there trying to bow their chest out, and like they're just looking to work with us maybe.
Well, I've definitely felt that they wanted me there. They wanted input from Northwest Louisiana on the economic development topics. It was so good that I volunteered to host the next meeting in Shreveport, because I want all of them out of New Orleans and Baton Rouge. I want them to come to Shreveport. And luckily they said yes. But I think the key thing is we can't complain if we're not going to engage, if we're not going to be part of it, okay? If you're going to plan events, if you're going to do things in Shreveport, in Northwest Louisiana, then we cannot be afraid to advertise it statewide.
There's a lot of people that sit and talk about, we should do this, we could do this, I want to open this business, I want to try that, I go out of town and I see this, it's so awesome, we should do it in Shreveport, and that's where it lays. Like, a lot of the events we've tried are huge risk. Mm-hmm. Nobody was doing those things. I mean, I was out, this event was in the Providence neighborhood, and I was just looking at this event, and you see this really cool neighborhood that spouted up in the last 10 years, with restaurants and a scene and a culture, and you can tell the kind of people it's drawing in. And that's not a bad life out there.
That's not.
And somebody took a risk on that. And you don't hear about that.
Well, that's key. And that's what we want to do with On the Cusp. We want to talk to those kind of people. We want them on our podcast, where they're talking about the risks they took and how, you know, the difficulties that they went through to get there. But in the end, they did it. Because I'm going to tell you, while I was in New Orleans, I visited Swaybox Studios, and we're going to go. We're going to go to New Orleans, and we're going to do a podcast from Swaybox, because everybody needs to see what they're doing. And they started here in Shreveport. They launched here, they developed their technology here, but for a lot of reasons, primarily workforce, you know, they needed some very specific workforce, and their clients, everybody knows New Orleans, their clients wanted to be there. So we lost them to New Orleans. But I'm always working them. Okay, to come back, always working.
And part of that's okay. I was thinking about the story of the week has kind of been this Shreveport native. It's actually Pam Atchison of Strack's son, launched this. You know, I'm not smart enough to know how all this works, but he's basically a rocket scientist with NASA, and shot some kind of
I read about
dill the size of a refrigerator at an asteroid like 7 million miles away or something. And can he work for NASA in Shreveport? No, he cannot. You can't do that. But can he still be a Shreveporter? Can he still give back to Shreveport?
Yes,
can
he can.
Swaybox still be involved in things in Shreveport and bring value to Shreveport? Yes, and they should. And more times than not, I think it's we're not asking them to. It's just like you going to the conference. If we picked up the phone and said, hey, man, this is amazing. Shreveport's proud of you. Can you come up and talk to schools? Can you come up? I think the answer would be a resounding
overwhelmed.
yes.
The Swaybox team still had their original Shreveport team with them, okay? And they are all still connected to Shreveport. And as I walked through the studio and the different departments, of Swaybox, I was really impressed because I knew those people 4 years ago when they launched this. They're still there and they're still talking about, well, I called my mom and she was talking about this in Shreveport and they were asking me about Shreveport things. They get back, once or twice a year, okay? But they're still, so to answer your question, yes, they can.
We can't leave it on them to come up with a way to involve Shreveport. We have to be thinking of ways as Shreveporters to engage those kind of companies to come back and work with Shreveport.
And the individuals. I think you hit a key point, and that is we have to promote our homegrown talent.
We have to.
We got to find a way to do that. And maybe it's we bring him in here and ask him to talk about, his journey and what he did.
I mean, that'd be incredible.
Yeah. I mean, is he at Stennis Space Center is where he's working out of?
I don't know. I mean, I read the same articles, the national articles. I mean, but there are so many people like that, Shreveport people doing really, really cool things. And most of them, when you talk to them, have very fond feelings about Shreveport or about North Louisiana in general. And
well, when you're out there traveling and you meet people from Shreveport, that you instantly go to those fun things, okay, the good things that they remember about Shreveport.
I was playing golf at the beach not long ago, and we show up for our tee time, me and my son, and we walk up, and there's a dad and his son that they've paired us with, and we walk up, and he says, well, where are y'all from? I said, Shreveport, Louisiana. He lights up. They had moved to the beach from Shreveport, pretty much living in a dreamland on the beach. But for 4 hours, he talked about all the things he loved about North Louisiana and how North Louisiana truly still was home.
We need to capture those kind of things and make sure we bring them on there. Because it's even like us, one of our portfolio companies that we were fortunate enough to recruit to Shreveport, Keenly Health, that they had a connection to Shreveport. One of the founders was originally from Shreveport. So when we started working with them and trying to figure out what their requirements were and how do we make this their home, it was very easy to do because he already knew something about Shreveport with that.
I had one more thing I wanted to, just as like the last few weeks is going on that I've noticed that I wanted to bring up here. As you're talking to people, and like Logan Lewis is the new executive director of the Revel. And he's doing a great job. And it's a really awesome thing that like this kind of guy's been brought into something that has this long-standing thing. But me and Logan, I've been calling, just kind of touching base, and I think he's about to crush it. But what we've been talking about a lot is, so a guy like Logan gets hired or me doing something or whatnot, and you get into a lot of these rooms, and the room is very excited about this new outlook on whatever you're working on. But then the things it takes to actually get the change we need starts to scare a lot of these people.
And they start scaling back.
And we start scaling back and we moving back. And I think we need to encourage some risk taking and some exploration of talent here.
Right.
To help us keep up with other places. That's just something I've observed a lot.
Well,
recently.
It's like they say in a lot of cases, if you're not doing something new and growing and learning, man, you're stagnant, and it's the same old thing. So I'm with you. We got to make sure we surround him with the right people, okay, that can help him take it to the next level.
We have to get the attitude that trying something that may work or may not is okay. Right. You can try something and then go try something different.
Absolutely. It's
but
all about the definition.
we have to be making attempts to catch our area up to the rest of the country.
It's about the definition of success, okay? That's right. If you don't take any risk and you don't go out there and try to do the hard things, guys, you're taking no risk, okay?
Providence didn't just appear
That's
out
correct.
there.
Right back to that point. It
You know,
didn't.
somebody took a
some
huge risk.
That's right.
Like-
Okay. So perfect. Hey, Matt, thanks for coming back. We're starting this new series. If anybody out there has a topic that they want Matt and I to research and bring to the podcast, shoot us an email at info@eapla.com. And if you want to watch our podcast, they're on all the platforms. If you want the video, we're on YouTube. So go check it out, like it, and share it with everybody in North Louisiana. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.